Funko Pop. Hey guys, do you want to go to Lambert's?
Happy Father's Day, or so it is a post-Happy Father's Day edition of the Modern Christian Dudes podcast. We have in the house, we have Funko Pro Greg Walden, king of the dad jokes. He's going to be busting out today.
Yep.
All right, and he is the master of those, so be paying attention. And we have 2024 presidential candidate Jacob Nevels with us.
Yay.
Jacob.
Hi.
You are a presidential candidate. Have you filed the paperwork officially to be a presidential candidate?
No, I'm going to let it be a surprise.
Okay. I should look that up. Is that hard? Anyone can do that, right? Anyone can run for president.
Yeah, you just have to be a natural born citizen at 35. That's it.
Okay. And you got to fill out the paperwork, don't you, or no?
Well, there is paperwork to fill out.
That you're official.
Yeah.
We can write you in, but I'd prefer that you be official, Jacob Nevels.
Yeah.
We should just have you give the speech here on the podcast.
All right. It is Father's Day. You are watching now. You can watch the MCD Modern Christian Dudes podcast live. We're still getting certain things dialed in. Some other cameras that we do have. We have a 2-camera setup here today, but we appreciate you can listen to it anywhere, any podcast platform. But you can also now watch it live on Facebook. And we hope you enjoy the Modern Christian Dudes podcast. Dudes talking news, sports, and God. I wanted to start off with this question to the audience, guys. And what is your favorite car that you have owned? And the reason I'm throwing this out there today is that I just purchased a brand new 2006 Toyota Matrix this last week or the week before.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it's a little hatchback car. 4-door hatchback, cool little Matrix. It's got a sport package on it, tinted windows, sunroof, and it's a nice little car. I was driving it last night, and I'm just in my happy place. The reason I bought that car is before my twin boys were born, I also had a Matrix the same year and model, and I was like, dude, I got to get. When I was looking for another gas-efficient vehicle.
Nice. I was actually, when I pulled in the parking lot, I was looking for your truck. I was like, I don't know if Pastor's here or not. Did he forget we had a podcast? But I saw the car out there. I was like, I wonder if he just drove somebody else's car. But yeah, well, it's cool. Got a new car. Awesome.
So that is, at this point now, it is that is my all-time favorite car that I've owned is the Toyota Matrix. How about you?
Well, my favorite car I've ever owned is my first one. Is a 1972 Pontiac Catalina with a 400 cubic inch V8 beast, a boat.
Okay.
It's a beautiful car.
What is it? Pontiac what?
It's a Pontiac Catalina.
Okay.
It's a 2-door.
Describe that in words for people that are...
Okay. It's a very big car. 400 cubic inch V8.
What year was it?
1972.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big...
We're on the
Okay.
video, so I'm going to show this in just a second.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, it's a 2-door family coupe. It's not too heavy to be a muscle car, but it had it did have a little get up and go when you pressed the gas pedal. The trunk was so big I could put all my mowing stuff inside the trunk.
Okay.
My mower, gas cans, a weed eater. I mean, that thing you could almost live in that thing if you wanted to.
Wow. Okay.
But it was a nice car. I drove it to school my senior year, and I had people. I had one guy offer to trade me a Camaro plus $2,000 for it.
Okay.
But it was my dad's car, so I couldn't sell it. He bought it, I drove it, type thing, and then I wrecked it before my senior year, and then it went to the junkyard.
We'll have to do that later, but that's one of those classic. The 70s were big boat cars.
Yeah.
Like they're super long for days, not gas efficient.
No,
They would not be allowed in 2023.
Yeah, this thing was nowhere near gas efficient.
How about you, Jacob? Your favorite car that you've actually owned? I mean, not the one you've dreamed of. Like
My 1998 Ford F-150.
Get a little closer to the microphone there, buddy. 1998.
My 98 Ford F-150. Single cab, 8-foot bed. I hauled 4,287 pounds of scrap metal in the truck bed of it. And that was just straight scrap metal.
You're a scrapper. You are a scrapper. So anyway, cool. Well, that's the question for you that are listening to the monitor. Your favorite car that you've ever owned. Put it in the comments below. Let us know. And I'm always interested. Because I'm not super old. I'm getting middle-aged man now. But I'm always interested to be, when I get like 70, 80, what's going to be the old car for me. Be like, oh man, I wish I Man, that 94 Toyota Corolla, that was a beauty. Woo!
Be like, you know, you'd be like, that's like how people nowadays feel about the old 20 and 30 Studebakers and stuff like that. You know, like, yeah, it's way out there, but yeah, it's.
All right. In that vein, in that note, we're on Father's Day or post Father's Day edition. So the king of the dad jokes, here he is, Funko Pro Greg Walden. He's going to unleash some dad jokes / Chuck Norris jokes as well.
Oh yeah, you gotta have both, man. You gotta have dad jokes and Chuck Norris jokes, right? They are hand in hand. So I got a few of them. I'll tell a few dads and a few Chucks. All right. After an unsuccessful harvest, why did the farmer decide to try a career in music?
I don't know why.
Because he had a ton of sick beats.
Oh,
We need that drum roll thing. I only seem to get sick on weekdays. I must have a weekend immune system.
oh,
Yep. Why I don't get why Marvel doesn't use the Hulk to advertise more. He's basically one big banner.
You got to kind of know his name to understand
Yep.
that. Dr. Banner.
And then the last dad joke. I just found out I am colorblind. The news came out of the purple. You know, like some out of the blue.
Applause taking place all across the World Wide Web right now from these dad jokes.
So here are some good Chucks.
Chuck Norris. I wonder, does he get money off how much his name is used in the last decade via jokes?
Well,
If he got a penny for every time his name was mentioned
he'd
the
be,
last decade,
he'd be rich again.
billionaire.
Well, what's funny is there's a guy. The backstory of the Chuck Norris facts was back in I think it was in the 90s or early 2000s. There was a guy that was actually doing a meme off another character, but I guess it kind of got bland, so he's kind of looking for something new, and it just happened to Chuck Norris. And it came out, back in the 80s. All these action movie stars who could fire 1,000,000 rounds and nothing would ever touch him, never got hurt. So he decided to make Chuck Norris facts off of it. And at first, Chuck Norris wasn't really cool with it, and then he actually had a lawsuit against the guy. But then Chuck decided to drop the lawsuit, and he kind of embraced it. And then Chuck Norris actually has his own official book of Chuck Norris facts. I do have that one, but
Wow.
So yeah.
Chuck Norris, born in 1940. That makes him 83 years old now.
Yeah, he's up there.
How about that?
So here we go. Some good old Chuck Norris facts. Here we go. Oh, the quickest way to a man's heart is with Chuck Norris's fist. Oh goodness.
Yep.
There's never been a hurricane named Chuck because it would have destroyed everything.
Oh, that's true. Very true. Very true.
Chuck Norris is the reason why Waldo is hiding.
Yep.
Chuck Norris does not. Chuck Norris doesn't wear a watch. He decides what time it is.
Oh.
Chuck Norris spices up his steaks with pepper spray. Chuck Norris can get in a bucket. Chuck Norris can get in a bucket and lift it up with himself in it. Most people have 23 pairs of chromosomes. Chuck Norris has 72, and they're all lethal. And then the last one, Chuck Norris destroyed the periodic table because Chuck Norris only recognizes the element of surprise.
Oh, Chuck Norris. What a man. What a great man.
Oh, here's a bonus one. Sorry, this is a good one. When Chuck Norris was born, the only person who cried was the doctor. Never slapped Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris, we bless you today on this post Father's Day. What a great man that you are, and an inspiration to us all. Chuck Norris, how about that? I can't. I'm just trying to find online here what Chuck Norris is doing nowadays, and I can't really figure out.
I think he's kind of like. I mean, I know he still works. I know he still works out. He's actually pretty stout for 81 years old.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Yeah, he still does.
I'm sure he's like Jack LaLanne. He's going to be going into the 90s at least. You would imagine.
Yep. Like you say, Chuck Norris died 20 years ago, but death hasn't had the courage to tell him.
All right. Any other great jokes there, Funko Pro Greg Walden?
I don't want to overwhelm everybody with all the jokes there. You only have to handle too much at one time there.
All right. Very cool. Yeah. I lost some cameras here, guys, going on. So let's bounce over to some news stories. Hope I can get them back. I'm going to have to trust you guys to talk here in just a second, okay? That you can keep us going. Oh, there we go. I got it. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. All right. So some stories that I have pulled up. Very sad one here. Pat Robertson, longtime host of the 700 Club and founder of the Christian Broadcasting Network, dies at 93, not 1993, but he died just a couple weeks ago. How about that, guys?
Yeah, I
June
saw that.
8th, he passed away. So it's been a couple weeks. I thought I'd bring that story up. Pat Robertson. I bring that up because, they say we all will at some point in our life have our 15 minutes of fame, if you will. Have you ever heard that before?
Yeah.
At some point in life, we're all going to have that 15 minutes of fame. Well, mine was, I have been on the 700 Club 3 times.
I watched that one episode
times.
with Gabrielle. I watched that
Yeah,
one.
so I have the episode with my daughter. Yeah. She was born premature, nearly died. They did a special on Gabrielle's story. So they ran it one time, and then they ran it 2 more times after that, Christmas special editions. So Pat Robertson has said my name, Jeremiah Johnson, on the show. Johnson family. That's my 15 minutes of fame. You guys have a good 15 minutes of fame story yet? Have you achieved the heights that I've achieved in being on the 700 Club?
No, I've never been on the 700 Club. I don't think I really have much of anything to brag about. I saw Leonard Nimoy once, but he didn't talk to me. He was like sitting across the hall. That was it.
So there you go. He's very popular, Christian Broadcasting Network. He ran for president, didn't he, back in the 80s or something like that?
Yeah.
Served the chancellor of Regent University, private Christian university. He's done a lot of stuff. So it's a sad thing. And it seems like, there's a lot of people that died in June. I don't have all of them in front of me, but shout out to you, Pat Robertson. I'm sure you're in heaven right now. All right. Going into some sports here for just a second. I saw today that the Kansas City Chiefs, they have received finally their official Super Bowl rings. How about that, guys?
Yeah. They're looking pretty nice, too.
The champions. I wonder who's going to win this year. You got some early predictions yet over there?
Oh, it's hard telling. I know that obviously the Chiefs will probably give another good run for it, but Cincinnati, never know. Cincinnati may finally pull one out. You never know.
Yeah. The beauty of the NFL is there's always a lot of parity. That's the beauty of the NFL. I mean, there are dynasties, and you're lingering. The Chiefs are lingering into a dynasty now because they got 2 Super Bowls with one Pat Mahomes and the crew.
Yep.
And they've been contenders each and every year. So we'll see what happens. I think the Chiefs got to be up there. A lot of Tom Brady's retired now.
Yeah, he's doing commercials
out of
now.
the mix. Seems like a lot of people are kind of predicting, from what I could tell, the Chiefs versus potentially the 49ers this year's Super Bowl.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah, I'm big. I wasn't a big 49ers fan. I used to be a 49ers fan when Joe Montana was there, but no. Yeah,
what about those you guys that are listening? Are you a rings guy? Do you think that's cool? I know there's been a little debate in some sports should they keep doing the championship rings or not. Should they do like a watch? Should they do a championship belt?
I think the rings are fine. I mean, I don't got one, so it doesn't really matter to me. But but I think the rings are fine. I mean,
presidential nominee candidate Jacob Neville. Are you a football fan over there or not?
I like football.
Okay. Do you have a team? Do you have a pick? Do you have any hot takes regarding football for us right now?
I say Kansas City Chiefs.
The Red Kingdom. So there we go. A little NFL sporting news. We did have the U.S. Open. Doesn't bother me that much there, and I'm not a big golf guy or those kind of things. So, all right. Any other hot stories there for you, Funko Pro Greg Walden?
well, then Tom Brady he's now doing a lot of the Hertz commercials now on YouTube.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
Yep, he's like on every 3rd or 4th video he's on a Hertz commercial. So yeah,
Are they good? Are they funny?
Well, man, it's footballish. I mean,
Okay.
it's,
In some tech news, I'll bring up the Apple. We've been waiting for this for a little while. I know I have. I've dabbled in the AR VR game in that I borrowed Big Ben's MetaQuest goggles for a little bit. But just a couple weeks ago, the Apple Vision Pros came out. Did you guys see this?
No, I haven't seen it.
The AR VR glasses, they are at the price point of $3,500
Ouch.
for the new Apple Vision Pro goggles that they are called. They look really cool. I've watched, there's a lot of YouTube videos out on them, but basically what happened is a lot of content creators were invited to use them for 30 minutes roughly in that ballpark. And then that's it. They couldn't video, their experience or those kind of things. But a lot of hype for the Apple Vision Pro. It's just out of my price point. I can't afford that.
I don't really get into that stuff.
but very, very cool. If you go watch some of the videos, if you're in the AR, VR, I knew that they're going to be top notch. They're going to rise above Zuckerberg and the MetaQuest goggles. I wouldn't mind if I could pull it off at some point. I still wouldn't mind. There's supposed to be a MetaQuest 3 goggles that are going to come out. So basically, Meta came out with the MetaQuest goggle. What were they called before that? They're the
Oculus.
Then there was the Oculus 2, which became MetaQuest 2, and there's going to be some MetaQuest 3 goggles that come out. Those are supposed to be more affordable because then they came out with the MetaQuest Pro, which are like $1,500. And so it's interesting. So all that to say is, that this technology is viable, and if Apple does it, it's a viable technology.
Yeah.
So the AR, VR, we're going to see more and more of it.
Yeah. Just I don't know if VR is really for me. It's never it really was my thing. But I mean, if it's your thing, hey.
I think what they're trying to develop is imagine. Okay, so Funko Pro, you got a big desk going on there. You got a man cave.
Yeah.
He's got a man cave. So imagine your man cave. All that stuff that you have there, those screens, those are all gone in just a pair of goggles.
I'd be tripping over my coffee table. I'd be tripping over my coffee table.
Seriously though, that's kind of the goal is that all those screens that you're looking at, they would be gone. You would just have your AR, VR goggles. And then basically they're trying to figure out now the balance of hardware, software, right? So basically, they could almost, the goal really is to try and eliminate a lot of that hardware.
Yeah.
So you don't have screens. They would just be right in front of you, and then how you type or whatever.
Right, but you remember back when you're kids, your parents said, "Get back from the TV screen." Now you're putting the TV screen right next to your eyes. That's kind of funny. That's kind of ironic, kind of funny, but that's just.
Yeah, and they're saying that was Zuckerberg's argument. He was recently on the Les Friedman podcast or whatever, and he was talking about he's kind of a believer in the tactile feel of technology. So basically, the Apple Vision Pro, there's no controllers with that thing. It's all
wow.
There's sensors and cameras that are reading all of your hand movements and all those kind of things. So I've heard it's amazing. The guys that
would be kind of good, like bowling games. Back when the Wii first came out, people were tossing their controllers to the screen because it would slip and the controller would hit the screen, crack the screen. So now you can bowl without tossing your controller into the screen.
Yeah. So so what you just said though, that's what they're processing. They're thinking Funko Pro Greg Walden or me or whatever thinks this is cool, but the problem is, how are we going to get people to make the transition, right? To wear this, to like really fully embrace it. That's the problem. It's one of those things where technology is there, right? The technology for these things are present and available. It's just getting people to want to use them.
Right. And well, I think like VR is probably more of a niche thing than in the widely mainstream accepted. How do you get it from being a niche to a mainstream? That's the challenge, because most people, like some people, are just not into that.
Yeah.
That's just not their. They like technology, but there's only a certain level that they're willing to go to.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Here's ideally, you guys both have glasses on right now. Imagine your glasses that you wear. You like them, right? I'm assuming the glasses you have on. Yeah, you have to have them, but you also like them, right? You're comfortable wearing them all. Yeah. You wear them all day long.
Yep.
And you are now comfortable with that. That's what they're trying to pull off right now. Is basically those glasses that Funko Pro Greg Walden. Could I put a computer, phone, all of that in those that he would wear and feel comfortable wearing all day long and able to do everything.
Now where I would kind of like it, like say if you're driving somewhere and you can, like you're on a trip, you can just have a little map right there on one of your.
Yes.
And you can see without.
That's what they want. Yep. Yeah. That's what they're going for. Yeah. So anyway, they'll get there maybe someday. All right, potential presidential nominee over here, candidate Jacob Neville. What do you think about all this tech? Are you a techie guy or what? Get closer to that microphone if you could.
A little bit, not too much. Technical is very interesting.
Apple Vision Pro, I can't afford them. Can't afford that kind of big boy purchase.
That's kind of that's my big boy purchase
going on there. All right, any other news there you got, Funko Pro Greg Walden? You just had the dad jokes holding down?
Yeah, I just had the dad jokes.
Okay. Here, I do. Let's go ahead and we'll just dive into our spiritual conversation discussion for the day. It does lean in with a story that I banked in my files here for the MCD. recently, Conor McGregor, the UFC star, he's kind of gotten big. You guys know Conor McGregor,
Yep.
the Irishman. He was a top star. He hasn't fought for almost a couple years now. Anyway, did you see that he punched out the Miami Heat mascot? This
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, I heard that.
So you can check this out. Conor McGregor punches and sends Miami Heat mascot to the emergency room. This happened now a week or two ago in the NBA Finals, but kind of crazy.
So the question is, why did he do it?
So it was a promotion.
Okay.
It was staged. It was supposed to happen. So it's not like it wasn't supposed to happen. They planned, because that's what, if you go see the mascot, he comes out in boxing gloves and a robe.
Okay. So he kind of had it right.
Yeah, it was all rigged. It was supposed to happen. And but I think he's trying to get money out of it. Quite honestly, I've watched the replays. It doesn't even look like the first punch. It looks like he like scrapes the top of his head in this giant fluffy mascot.
And then he just
uniform.
goes down like he got nailed by a
Yeah, then he
bird.
goes down. Now the second punch, that's the one I argue. He does look like he punched him potentially where his face would be at, the mascot.
Maybe it could have had a choreographical mishap where he wasn't really intending to, but the guy got too close and maybe connected.
I don't know. It's interesting. But it is kind of funny to watch.
Yeah.
What's funny to watch is the crowd like booed McGregor. The thing was supposed to be set up where McGregor would be, they'd cheer for him but the crowd did not take lightly the abuse of their mascot there. But I'm going to lead into the story. What I want to get in the spiritual talk I want to talk about is that then what he made even bigger news for was the next day or two came out that he was allegedly raped a woman in the bathroom of the Miami Heat club bar area. Did you guys hear about this?
No, I haven't heard about that.
Okay, so anyway, basically, Conor McGregor is accused of a woman at this point of raping her in a bathroom. Basically, you can see some videos. I kind of looked into the story a little bit because we're going to talk about it. There's a video from TMZ where you see McGregor take this woman into the bathroom. His security guards are all standing around. I'm not going to say the graphic details of what unfolded there. You can read that online. But basically, he did several sexual acts to her, and then comes out of the room, and then there's video footage, and he's denying it. She's saying it's true. I'm guessing what will most likely happen is probably be like a little payout potentially or something like that, or he will attempt to settle. That'd be my guess. But the one thing that I was like is like, dude, McGregor. My thought coming out was like, man, money corrupts people so bad. McGregor. He used to be. I can't ever say I was a big fan of McGregor. But the one thing that, if you're a fight fan, I'm a fight fan, that you admired about McGregor is he was this Irish star, brash, charismatic. He started out on welfare when he was, he was on welfare. He was this fighter with big dreams. One day I'm going to be a champion and all this kind of stuff. And then he comes in the UFC and he starts winning bouts, and people are getting behind him. Even me, I was like, whoa, look at this McGregor guy. And he kind of had this personality and he had charisma. And then all of a sudden he did the Floyd Mayweather fight, which he got $100 million for. And basically since then, it's just like, he's hugely successful in terms of money made. He started a whiskey company, Proper 12. He sold that for like $300 to $400 million. So the guy is roughly worth, they say, like $600 to $700 million. But it just shows you that when you get all this worldly stuff, it corrupts you, and it just ruins your life. And so what I'm trying to get at is a scripture I used on Sunday was from Luke chapter 9. Verse 25, where it says, what good is it if a man gains the whole world yet forfeits his soul? And so here you are, you see this guy, this athlete that's rich beyond what we could even comprehend, you and I, and what we'll most likely ever have in our entire lifetimes, right? And he has rich, he has fame, he has cars, but his life is an epic disaster. So they've had, in the last year or two, there's been all these other stories of him partying and drinking and just kind of being this out of control person. And it just brought me back home to that point once again. What good is it if you gain the whole world and forfeit your soul? Money doesn't bring happiness. Fame doesn't bring happiness. Riches doesn't bring happiness. Obviously, we believe here as Christian men of God that true peace, happiness is found in Jesus Christ.
Well, that verse is a very, very relevant verse for today. I would also think that verse is saying your soul is more important than any material, money, excitement, anything you can get on this earth, because everything on this earth is temporary. It's a vapor. Your soul is what's important, because your soul is eternal. And so many people in our society, they don't care one whim about their soul. They only care about getting money, getting fame, getting riches, having all the stuff, but they don't care about their soul. And so, that verse is like, what does it profit a man if he gained the entire world? I mean, you got rich people like Conor McGregor who don't care about their soul, but you also got poor people who don't care about their soul. So you get everything from not having nothing to having everything, but you're not taking care of you're not paying any attention to your eternal soul.
Yeah.
You don't profit you don't profit. And the only way you're going to profit is if your soul is if your soul is correct with the relationship with Jesus Christ. Apart from Jesus, like the Bible says, apart from Christ, you're nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. It's like I got a good job, I got a house, but really, if I put down everything in perspective, without Jesus Christ, I am nothing.
And it just, it just seems like over and over again, we see that it doesn't satisfy, right? It doesn't satisfy. You could have all that you want, and it's going to wear off, And I'm thinking as we're talking in this discussion, I love that where Jesus one time at the woman at the well, he's like, "Let me give you living water, and you'll never thirst again." Meaning that there's a content and a peace that's found in Jesus Christ that you just can't get in the world. I know I pick on Jeff Bezos a lot here sometimes on the show, but Jeff Bezos, look at a guy like that, how rich he is, and he's buying yachts, and he's, again, divorcing his wife. Oh, I got the newer, younger, hotter woman now, all these kind of things. And it doesn't seem like this stuff ever satisfies.
It don't satisfy. And it's like, I got a friend on Facebook. I ain't gonna say, I won't embarrass the person's name, but battling cancer. And of course, I don't think the person's saved. I mean, obviously, I don't think the person's saved. But they're like, I'm fighting cancer. I'm going to get over this. Okay. I pray that, obviously, I don't want to see anybody, die of cancer. Obviously, we want all of our loved ones to recover, to get healed and all that stuff. But I said, what good is it? That goes back to that verse. What good does it gain a man get into horror? What good is it, say for argument's sake, you're healed from cancer? You get what? Years of unreliable. You get years of you don't even know how many more years you got left on this earth. You could get, like I say, you could get the news you're cancer free tomorrow. Get killed in a car wreck. So what good did it do?
Yeah.
What good did it do? I said your soul is more important than being healed of any physical disease. Your soul is more important than getting a job. Your soul is more important than having a house. Anything on this physical earth, your soul is more important. I mean, that's where we need to focus is on our soul. And so that's just the emphasis is value on the soul.
Yeah. Let me say this to you, Jacob Neville, future presidential candidate over there joining us today, special guest. Okay, I'm saying this respectfully. You don't seem to be an extremely wealthy person, but you seem to be a very happy, fulfilled person in life. Why is that?
Why is that? I would love to have more money, but I have what I need each day to survive. And money has never really been something that I've really cared about. I've always figured God has given me 2 hands, God has given me 2 feet, and I can pretty well survive with that. So I've never really cared too much about wealth because God has always provided what I've needed, when I needed it, and how I've needed it.
Great point. And
but if anyone's out there that got some $1 million extra, hey, I'd be glad to accept.
Sadly, there are people, but they're just not going to give it to us.
Well, think about how many of these rich celebrities commit suicide.
Exactly.
I mean, you think, why would they, if you're secularly thinking, why would they commit suicide? They got all the money. They don't have a stress or worry in this physical life to worry about. They have all the money they can. If they need something, they just go out there and get it. So but they commit suicide. Why?
I believe because money does not buy happiness. it will not buy happiness, and it will not buy love.
But the
It
world thinks,
just
but
won't.
the world tells you that having money gives you happiness. The devil tells you having
Yeah.
all this gives you happiness, but it's a lie. It doesn't give
Yeah.
you happiness.
I might push back on that ever so slightly. Is money can buy you happiness, but money can't buy you peace
Right.
or fulfillment.
Yes.
And I would just define that as saying, money can buy you. Let me say it this way, because maybe it's semantics. Money can buy you temporary pleasure,
Yes.
but it can't bring fulfillment into your life.
Can't fill that void in your life
Yep.
that only Jesus can fill.
Which is why people do drugs, alcohol, substances,
Yep.
buy super expensive things. So yeah, I was thinking a lot about that this week when I saw that Conor McGregor story. I was like, man, what a sad tale. Because I think that guy's headed towards disaster. Is he clearly he's doing all this crazy stuff and it's not working out for him, fulfilling him. And then, when you get in that mode, you think you start to think you're God and you can just do whatever you want to do. And it's very self-destructive in the end.
Well, that's basically what sin does. I mean, sin. The Bible says the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy, and those who follow the devil's ways, that's where it eventually leads.
Yeah. And he said that, right? What a great man. That's one that we can always center ourselves on in our Christianity is the garden, Adam and Eve, because that's what the devil said. He's like, hey, if you eat from this tree, you'll be like God.
Which was
You'll know.
which is what the devil wanted to do originally.
Yeah,
That was his
exactly.
original spiel.
So we strongly suggest Jesus as the fulfillment of your life, and that, man, you can have all the stuff in the world. I mean, you could even have a 2006 Toyota Matrix like me. It's not even that's going to wear off for me. Okay, at some point, no.
But here's the real question. Here's the real question. This is I mean, it's not, again, I believe that God gives us the ability, like he gives us talents. I mean, you have talents, you have pastor, you have talents that I don't have. Jacob has talents that I don't have. I have talents. So God gives us gifts and talents, and then we use those both to serve God and also to provide for our families. And I'm thankful for what God's given. The talents that God's given me, the doors that God's opened for me throughout the years, the fellowships I got to meet over the years, and so I just lost my train of thought. But the question is, are you what are you willing to lay down for the service of Jesus? Are you willing to lay all those treasures and things down? Because I was talking to my wife the other day. I was like, there's a good chance, especially as believers. I'm telling you see, if you watch the news, see what's going on in the world around you, that certain agendas, we all know what they are. People around the world are getting arrested, losing their jobs for standing up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so, what in our modern America, which a lot of people like, well, God wants. It's like it's like, are you willing to? God doesn't. Here's the thing: is like you look at the Bible, Jesus, but the Bible, the New Testament says Jesus had no place to lay his head. So Jesus on this earth did not own a house. I mean, he didn't own a house. He wasn't rich and wealthy. Peter was and then he's like, hey, guy who's begging on the street. He goes, silver, gold, I do not have, but Jesus I do have.
Yeah.
So Peter. I don't think Peter had $1 million walking around as an apostle serving Christ. He's probably living day to day, city to city, living off generosity of people, of fellow believers who would pour into their lives. So we have this concept, like as Christians we should have big houses, lots of money, and all that stuff. But that's not the right concept, man. Jesus promises to be with you. Jesus actually promises that the world will hate you. Jesus promises that you will go through troubles and persecution, but he promises to be with you, and he promises never to abandon you. So the concept as believers, especially going through our current culture, is that what are the promises of God in our culture today? Promises God that he will be with you. He'll never forsake you. He will be right there with you and give you the power to overcome the world, the flesh, the devil. He gives you that power. And so the question is, and it's coming soon, is as the agenda, and until Jesus comes back. I pray that comes back soon. But until the Lord, as long as the Lord tarries, the pressure on believers is going to increase. Mm-hmm. Especially like my job. Obviously, my job is prime. I could walk. It's like I was telling. A couple weeks ago, I was telling the kids. It's like, I could walk in to my job tomorrow, and there will be an email saying you must do this, which is anti-godly.
Yeah.
So the question is, am I going to choose God or am I going to choose my job? That's the question. If I choose God, I could lose my job and lose my home, everything. Are you willing to stand for Christ to that point where you're willing to choose Him over your own house, your own pleasure, your own money, income, everything? And that's coming, guys. That's just my opinion.
Yep. Final thoughts there, Jacob Nevels.
I agree. I agree that it's coming to that point that we're going to have to really decide who we're going to choose, if we're going to choose God or we're going to choose this world with everything that's going on in it.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I hope you guys had a tremendous and wonderful Father's Day, whatever you did. Hopefully you ate some good food. You worshiped Jesus. You did all kinds, spent time with your family, all that kind of good stuff. So, hey, Conor McGregor, I strongly suggest Jesus.
Amen.
I think he can really fulfill your life. And I'd love to talk to you about it if you want to, or you might have people in your life you could already talk to about that. And those of you, what good is it? The Bible says this, what good is it if a man gains the whole world, yet forfeits his soul? We're the Modern Christian Dudes talking news, sports, and God. We'll talk to you next time.